My goal today is to avoid food waste. I'm not going to go out there and harvest anything from the garden until I use up what has been harvested already that may be going bad. So we're going to look into the refrigerator, and especially at vegetables. I'm focusing mainly on vegetables and fruits that were harvested from the garden. And then if I run across some other items that are going to go bad, I'll cook those up also. I'm going directly to the crispers. Oh my goodness. I'm going to take out all the cucumbers, and that's actually a zucchini that looks something like a cucumber, a baby cucumber. I need to get everything out of here so I can sort through it. I'm going to sort through this. I'm going to look in one more vegetable tray and bring whatever's in there out that's going bad. This is everything here is harvested from the garden. I have another refrigerator, but there's more recent harvest in that refrigerator, so it is safe. These are the oldest of the harvest, but we have a pepper that I cut on the other day. We need to use this up. And we have zucchini that I prepared for, I was going to do a slaw with cabbage, a store-bought cabbage, but I may use it if I think it's going bad because it's been in the refrigerator for quite a while. Tomatoes, some of them are going bad. I need to sort through these tomatoes, take out the bad ones, throw them away, cut the cherry tomatoes in half, and roast them like sun-dried tomatoes. This kale is still edible, but it's not for kale chips. I would say I would throw this in, I would make a soup and then throw it in at the end. And we need to do stir fry with the zucchini for sure. Yeah, so we'll have a zucchini slaw and maybe use some carrots. These look pretty, I'll use the smallest carrots because they go bad before the big ones. The cucumbers, boy, these are soft. I wanted to pickle. We need to do that right away. Some of these are getting really soft. Then I have zucchini I'd like to pickle too. I hope I find a big enough jar. It will be refrigerator pickles. I'm not going to do the other kind. And then we have these little shallots. We can add them to the vegetable soup that I make. These beets are pretty good. Yeah. The smaller ones I may have to use up. Okay, looking at these turnips. Okay. I gave the turnips and the beets one washing, but they definitely need another washing. Now, I'm going to smell the turnips. But they're not soft or anything. I need to be cooking these up into chips, maybe fermenting. We're going to work on the brine for pickling. We'll be pickling cucumbers and zucchini both. We're going to use half vinegar, half water, kosher salt, and sugar. All right, we have our brine. I got it stirred really well. Sugar, vinegar, water, and salt. It called for quite a bit of salt. Kosher salt is the best, or pickling salt. And then I'm just using a jar. This used to be Jergens pickles. So we'll use that jar. And I believe they'll all fit, and I want them to be packed in there. So some of the pickles I'm just putting in here whole, or the cucumbers, I should say. And then some, there was a very large one, so I just cut it into fourths. Oh yeah, and I want to put this zucchini and surprise my husband with that. So see if he can tell the difference between cucumbers and zucchini. Once they're pickled, there's not much difference really. We have some spices. I need to chop and mince garlic. I have some fresh dill from the garden. I have celery seed. I didn't have mustard seed. That would have been amazing, but I didn't have mustard seed. We'll do a little celery seed and peppercorns. I peeled and chopped the garlic into smaller pieces. I'm going to put this in. I'm using about half of this garlic in this jar, but I'm going to smash it first so that the flavor of the garlic infuses quicker into the pickles. Oh boy, that really smashed. We'll just go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to use about half of this. We're going to add these spices here. Celery seed and peppercorns. I'm just going to use my discretion here about how much celery seed. I'm not going to use too much. Peppercorns, just a little bit. Okay. And then dill, I separated the dill into little sections. I got the lid tight. Shake the jar. And it goes straight in the refrigerator. Now these pickles are still pretty hard. I can hold off before I have to use them. When I do use them, it will probably be for a veggie plate or pickling. This one's my favorite. I just wish it was a little darker. These two are very hard, almost as hard as a brick. So I can put them back in the crisper and they'll be around for a little while. This one has a soft spot up here. Down here it's real hard, here it's soft. This one is a little soft all over. We're going to use these for the pickles. Take some of the pilling off on these. So first of all, I'm going to cut this one. Okay, because we're going to do a slaw. We're going to use this for a slaw or stir fry. These I'm going to use for pickles. I'm going to do the pilling thing to make him happy. He doesn't mind a little bit of pilling, but not too much. This is going to make a lot. I think I'm going to have to use another jar, create another jar. These I'm making thicker because they're smaller horizontally. This jar already has onion and garlic that's flavored, and plenty of it. But I did not put dill, so we're going to add a little bit of dill to that. There we go. Now we're adding our zucchini slices. Put the rest of the zucchini in a jar and I'm doing the pickling process, starting with smashing the garlic, peppercorn, and celery seed. I always stir the cold brine. Yeah, this is cold brine, by the way, because we're doing refrigerator pickles, in case the sugar and salt settles to the bottom. I'm just adding the brine the same way I did when I pickled the cucumbers. I put a lid on it, gave it a shake, and now I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. Now I'm just going to work straight through and prepare and cook with the vegetables that you saw earlier in the video. These are not tutorials. I will refer you to recipe links in the description that match what I'm creating here as closely as possible. These are the ingredients I'm using in the zucchini stir fry. We have zucchini, bell pepper, red onion, garlic, salt, pepper, avocado oil, and Worcestershire, which will be mixed with water to replace soy sauce. Now I'm just going to chop up all the vegetables that go in this dish. Cooking all the veggies in heated avocado oil. Now I'm just trying to separate. See, I'm separating the onions as they cook. And the minced garlic I'll add towards the end. I'll just create a circle in the middle and we'll saute that a little bit and then mix it in with everything. Once you get your vegetables cut, stir fry is very easy. And this, you can see the star of the show here is zucchini. I'm adding the minced garlic in the middle with that saute for about a minute, and then we'll mix it all together with the sauce. The dish is done. I'm just going to add a little garlic salt. I gave it a taste test. Just needs a little garlic salt. Here's what it looks like plated with Hawaiian meatballs. There's only 2 meatballs there with pineapple and sauce, but everything just goes together very well. Garlic bread on the side, and that would be enough. Next, we'll be making a zucchini cabbage coleslaw with these ingredients, plus salt, pepper, sugar, celery seed. So I've got the zucchini and the cabbage cut up, and the carrots are shredded, and the onions chopped. This is a fine chop. Instead of shredding it, that way all I had to shred were the carrots, and they had to be shredded. I've never had coleslaw without shredded carrots. But finally chopping cabbage and zucchini is enough. There's a piece of cabbage. It's like the core, but I don't want to waste this. I'm going to put it in the vegetable soup. So I've got everything in a large bowl, and I'm going to add mayonnaise and all the ingredients to it. All right, we're going to add our spices, garlic salt, celery seed, I think I'm going to pepper, and sugar. Some people make the dressing in a separate bowl. I just mix it all together. I think that's enough sugar, but I put a little extra. My husband really likes sweet coleslaw. Before adding the wet ingredients, I'll mix up the seasonings with the slaw. Then we add mayonnaise, a little apple cider vinegar, and a little milk. I'll just mix this all together and then I'll give it a taste test. The coleslaw is done. We plan on eating this tomorrow with chicken tenders. This is one of those cold side dishes that you can make ahead of time, and actually it tastes better the next day. You can eat it with almost any kind of entree or for lunch with a sandwich. Now it's time to make vegetable soup. We're going to use beef broth. My husband and I both love the flavor of beef broth. We're going to use lots of vegetables and vegetables from the garden, but we are not using actual meat. Just the beef broth is going to be the only meat product. I've done this before and my husband loves it, and so do I. And I just think the soup is better and more pure and doesn't take as long. You don't have to cook the meat. It takes a very long time to cook meat to get it tender. I remember my mom, how long it took to get vegetable soup, and we were really hungry. And it's like, because of the meat, we had to wait until it became tender enough in the soup. So let's do it. I'm just starting out with a great deal of water, and I'm going to add the beef bouillon, powdered form. I'm going to boil this, and when it starts boiling, I'm going to add the potatoes and the carrots and the onions. This time I went ahead and peeled the potatoes. I'm using the potato peels for the compost pile. As you can see, I have coffee grounds and an eggshell in here. I'm going to let this get filled up, and then I'm going to put it out in the garden. The carrots, I'm just going to chop these up. I gave them a good washing, and I'm going to chop them up, and whatever I don't use from the carrot, I'll put in the compost. Now I like to dice the carrots. And if I'm going to put the potatoes and the carrots in at the same time, I mean, the potatoes are going to be bigger than the carrots. Otherwise, the carrots will take longer to cook. The potatoes will be soggy by the time you get the carrots done. Now all I have to chop up are the shallots. I've got everything chopped up and good to go, and the soup is boiling. The carrots are fork tender, the potatoes definitely are there, let me tell you. But the shallots will add great flavor to the soup. Of course, you can use, this is easier, tomatoes from the can. I could have used these, but I'm choosing to use, I've got plenty of tomatoes in the garden. Why not use fresh tomatoes? Okay, I've got them peeled. I'm just gonna chop them up into small pieces. Okay, let's get these tomatoes in there. I'm going to be cutting up some parsley to add to the soup. All right, the tomatoes and the parsley are cooking along with the potatoes, carrots, and scallions. Everything's cooking along here. I'm going to go ahead and cut the kernels off this ear of corn. So let's put some basil. Oh, I love basil with tomato. Mary's perfect with tomato. Thyme. And I'm going to go ahead and use garlic powder. So we can have a little garlic flavor there. Oh, we've got to have vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and a little sugar to sweeten everything up, to break down the acidity of the soup that the tomatoes create. Yep, fork tender the potato is. The carrots are too. So everything is fork tender. On low, it can cook for just a little while so the spices blend into the soup. It's time to add the one ingredient my husband's not crazy about, but it's good for him. And that's kale that I chopped into really small pieces, almost as small as parsley. So it looks more like an herb. We'll add that to it. And this just looks amazing. I'm going to give it a taste test. All right, let's give her a taste test. Carrot and potato. Very good broth. Oh my gosh. And if you're growing like lima beans in the garden, I am not a fan of lima beans by any means, but I like lima beans in vegetable soup, and they would be perfect in this. I forgot to add that little piece of cabbage. I just remembered. I chopped up the cabbage core very finely. My husband agreed that it was fine. Thanks for watching today. I added some carrots to the vegetable plate, but I ran out of time. Hope I inspired you to use your fruits and veggies before they go bad.
We'll be continuing this theme in the next video using turnips, cherry tomatoes, and other fruits and veggies.